Jake. Cedric inside it to 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Cedric O'Neal.
Not a flag on the field, Dick Rocky.
That brings the Blazer crowd to their feet. That's a great drive and an important drive for Valdosta State.
The David Dean Show, your weekly look at Valdosta State University Blazer football. Here's your host, Dick Rocky, along with head coach David Dean, for a look at this week's Blazer football action.
Hello and welcome to the David Dean Show. I'm Dick Rocky with the head coach. Valdosta State drops 31-17 to the University of West Georgia in the quarterfinals of the Division II National Playoffs. And Coach, we've been talking. It's just sort of stunned, really. You know, we'd sit here for 8 straight weeks with victories, and then West Georgia comes down. They played well. We struggled.
Yeah, we did. You know, we got beat at what we take a lot of pride in, and that was special teams. You know, they did a good job of covering kickoffs and forcing us to start in bad field position. We have not given up any return yards all year on our punt team. As a matter of fact, we were in negative yardage on the year, and I think they had close to 95 or maybe 100 yards and 2 punt returns. So, you know, that ended up being the difference in the game. One punt return set up a touchdown, then obviously the other one iced the game.
Well, they came out, and you actually told me this before the game. The thing you were worried about was they're going to get off to a great start, and we haven't done that. And dang if they didn't do it.
Yeah, I mean they've traditionally done that through the last part of the season. They got off to a big lead against Florida Tech. They got off to a big lead against Tuskegee. They did the same thing to Delta State, and they just kind of hang on there for a while. And then all of a sudden they find a way to make a play there late in the game, and it's been a great pattern for West Georgia through about a 5-week stretch, and that's exactly what they did again.
And they jumped out 7-0, then 14-0, and you guys started playing, got it to 14-7, then 21-17 at the half. I mean,
yeah. So
you guys fought back again like they've been doing.
Well, we were. You know, we never gave up. We kept fighting hard and put ourselves in a position to win the game, and unfortunately we had 3 opportunities in the second half. We threw 2 interceptions down inside the 20-yard line. We also had a fumble after we were running the ball very, very well. We had a botched pitch that forced us to go to 2nd and 17 or 2nd and 18 when we were moving the ball very well. And if we could have finished off that drive when I think we had them a little bit tired, we were knocking them off the ball and getting positive yards run after run after run, and taking the lead at that point, that would have been a big difference in that game.
And Coach, you kept the biggest secret all week. Nobody knew. I think your coaches said they didn't even know that Jake was going to start, and because you let everybody believe. And I was surprised when I saw him go out there throwing. And
well, he never practiced all week long. He never took a snap in practice the entire week. Throwing snap, you know, he got in there and did some run stuff. But that was about it, and we weren't sure he was going to be able to. We took him out and threw a little bit Friday just to evaluate him and see how he could do, and he was able to throw. We evaluated him before the game to see if he was good, and I think most of it was adrenaline. He just wanted to play, wanted to be a part of that competition.
And he played well. I mean, you know, no quarterback's ever going to be perfect. He played well and picked up some good yardage, made some good throws. And
well, you could see the velocity on his throws were not quite what they normally are, but he was making good throws. I think he was somewhere in the 20 to 27 range in the game, which is very good against a good defense like that. But you know, we'd love to have had him healthy. You could tell by the way he was running. He was running a little ginger. He didn't want to take a shot on that shoulder.
All right, well, let's take a look at the first half right now. And here we go. Going to go over to Cedric at the 2-yard line. Cedric on the far side of the field comes to the 15, to the 20, and is tripped up there. Jake with the snap. Austin again cuts inside the 25. Austin to 30, steps the other way and gets to the 35-yard line. Snap. Jake keeps it. Jake at the 40. Still on his feet at the 45 and runs out of bounds. Dickey's going to hand off inside. He's hit right there. He's going to go down. Justin Williams hit him and got a bunch of help. Snap. Low snap. Looking left. Wants to go deep. Wants to go way deep. He's got a man down there. Incomplete. What a great play. Looks left. Goes left. Catch is made. And he's hit. And he's not going to get the first down. Dickey waits. There it is. Inside handoff. And it's a touchdown. Looks to throw deep down the middle, wide open. It's going to be another touchdown. Jake throws down in the pocket, looking, throws over the middle. First down to Chris Anderson, wide open, gets it to the 44. Snap to Jake, throws out in the flat, got him out there, stays on his feet, breaks a tackle, crosses the 40, down inside the 41. Jake. Cedric inside it to 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Cedric O'Neal. Ricky wants to throw, goes down, he's sacked. Snap, Ricky wants to go downfield, he's got him wide open down there and knocked away. What a great Kenny Moore. Snap, Ricky wants to go downfield. He's got him wide open down there and knocked away. There's a snap, Jake. Over the middle, slant catch, and a good throw and a good catch here by Will Johnson. Jake throws to the right, throws out the flat, catch is made out there, breaks the tackle, still on his feet, and gets the first down. That's Zay Howard. Snap good, hopefully kick is good. Right through the middle. Dickey, low snap. And he's going to he throws it downfield and it's intercepted. No, he dropped it. Blitz. Dickey just hand off inside and he's going to be tackled hard right there by Bryson Brindle. Inside handoff and that'll be a touchdown. Downfield. He's got down there. He's got him down there. Catches, made it to 20. Austin Scott's running back. Looking to throw it. Does throw it. Catch is made over there. Good catch. Jake looks left. Throws over the middle. Catch made. Touchdown, Chris Anderson. Dickey with the snap. Looking to throw. He's forced out of the pocket. He's going to run. Throws over the middle. Intercepted by that Austin State at the 30. At the 37-yard line. 21-17 trailing after halftime. Your team fought back and battled back. So my usual question is, what's the mood in there, and what are you telling them?
Well, we were very positive going in. We felt like that we let them have some key third down conversions. We had their quarterback, Dickey, tied up in the backfield a few times and let him slip away and make some first downs. So we just didn't feel like we were tackling as well as we could defensively, and we had to continue to put more pressure on the quarterback as the second half rolled. We knew we had to play better special teams, get more positive yards on our return game. And then the other thing that we had to do was offensively was we had to put together drives and keep their offense off the field and really wear their defense down a little bit. And we were able to do that at times. Just unfortunate that when we got around the 30-yard line, we bogged down and didn't execute as well as we should have.
In the second half, the third quarter was 0-0. I mean, no points on the board, 6 straight punts between the two schools. And so, both teams were moving the ball a little bit, but then the defense would make a good play or there would be a turnover of some sort.
Right. Well, there was a lot of positive going back and forth as far as offense was concerned, but both defenses really buckled down when they got inside the 30-yard line, and that's a credit to both defenses and how they play. They're going to give up some yardage, but it's not giving up points. And that third quarter rolled fast because there was a lot of runs that were involved, and then a lot of times when they were dropping back to throw the football, we were getting pressure on the quarterback and sacking him, so the clock just continued to roll. So that third quarter went by extremely quick.
And I believe we got the interception we were just talking about on their sidelines, which we were looking at a field goal at worst at that point almost.
Right. That was late in the third quarter. That's after Jake had been knocked out of the game, and Caleb had come in and did a nice job of driving us down the field. And we had hit that play earlier in the game, and they had a little bit different coverage look at it, and he felt like he could throw that thing in there again. And their corner made a great play and ended up picking that ball off. And that would have been great because we could have at least used those 3 points at that time.
And I don't think they got anything out of that. But and then I think our next series, of all things, will get a missed field goal.
Yeah, that's very rare for us this year. Anthony's been great with his accuracy and kicks. He only missed 4 all year long, and I think he had hit 7 or 8 straight in the playoffs. But they jumped off sides and got back, and when they jumped, he moved, and it kind of threw his timing off a little bit, and he just slid the ball to the right. Plenty of distance, just slid it off to the right.
All right, well, let's take a look at the second half. Line drive kick, and he's going to field it at the 1, at the 5, at the 10, at the 15, and he's going to go down right there short, fairly short of the 20. Dickey with the snap. Throws left, catch made, and he's hit out there and is going to go down. And get back to it. Mangel's going to run it, and he's going to be hit. Bryson Brandel with the great play is going to force him to punt. Jake needs to get it produced and try to throw it to somebody. He's got Rochebell down there. Catch made, first down across the 30 to the 32. Blazers trailing. Cedric off the right side has a pretty good hold. Snap. Going to hand on. No, Dickey's going to keep it again. Good tackle back there, Justin Williams. Dickey waits. There's the snap. Split the rope. And he's hit and he's down. Snap. Fake, wants to throw it. Chasing after him again, and he's down again, back at the 11-yard line. They need one here. Wobbly punt, and going to have a chance for Bergman at the 50, the 45, the 40. What a nice run again by Nick Bergman. Caleb Rose towards the home side. Throws out, in fact, got him open, and a catch is made for the first down right at the 25-yard line. Got to get it down to the 11. 15 or 16 wants to throw. He does throw and intercepted. Dickey with it, looks over the middle, wants the screen, has the screen, and going to be run out of bounds over there. And he snaps the ball, and he is able to fall on it. Snap. The throw, getting pressured. He's going to go down. They snap it at 1. The throw, pressure, avoids the tackle, wants to throw downfield, he does, and intercepted by Valdosta State. Cedric off the left side at the 50, spins the 45, still on his feet, Cedric down to the 42. They're showing blitz. Cedric with the ball and has the first down. Jake looks left. Nobody's open. Got a man off there, makes the catch to 40, spins, and still on his feet. What a nice run there from Demonte Ridley. Demonte kicks up. No good. He missed it. And off the right side, and not going to go. Quarterback keeper, and still gets good yardage right through the middle. Handoff. And he's going to be stopped there at about the 10. Manuel rolls out, pitches out. It's got some room out there, and he's stopped. He didn't make it. Low snap, and he got it through there. Just a throw over the middle. Catch made to the tight end again. Dives close and gets it. Jake looking, forced out of the pocket. Got to get rid of it. Oh. He's going to run to the 20. There's the snap. Wobbly kick. Got some room at the 50, the 40. Down to the 30, cuts inside, and he's going to take it the distance. On the flat catch made. Anderson with it. Spins away from another tackle to 50, inside the 45, down to about 42. Jake with the snap. Go downfield, catch is made for the first down. Jake looks to throw, and it's intercepted, and that'll do it. The game is still pretty close at that half, Coach, as we finish up talking about the game, but they go up 24-17 on a field goal, and then get the interception touchdown to 31-17. Still felt like he had a chance. We had to punt the football late in the game, and they get the big punt return. That was their last touchdown.
Yeah, you know, we when they kicked the field goal, they had a nice drive to go down and kick the field goal to go up 24-17 after we had missed ours. And we knew at that time we had to put together a drive and go down and score, and we had plenty of time to do it. And unfortunately, we get a call the first snap. They said that one of our wide receivers was blocking, and at that time of the game, with all that was on the line, I don't know how they can determine that a wide receiver is blocking. He's running a route and trying to get off of a press coverage. And so anyway, we ended up backing up and having 1st and 22 instead of completing what we completed was a 14-yard pass and moved the ball up to the 39-yard line. So we had long yardage, and we ended up with a 4th down and 10 somewhere around in there. And we had all 3 of our timeouts left. So I really felt like if we could hold them, we'd get the ball back and then have an opportunity to go down. And looking at it in hindsight, if I knew that Appling was going to return that punt for a touchdown, we'd have gone for it. But we had plenty of time. We just did not make the special team play, and a credit to West Georgia. They had great blocking at that and great return, and that score ended up icing it. But, you're talking about a fight of a football team. We went right back down the field, and we had the ball inside the 25-yard line again before we threw the interception, and still had time left. We had an opportunity to score a touchdown, kick the extra point, do an onside kick, and who knows what happens from there.
And Coach, it's a great end of the season. It's not a great end of the season, but for your team even to get there after that 2-2, we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. But West Georgia, you said we're one of the hottest teams in Division II football, and they proved it. They're a good team. They're going to move on and go to Colorado and play next Saturday. And I just told somebody, I said, I'm not going to pull for them, but I'm not going to pull against them, so I just don't care.
Well, they deserve to be there, the number 6 seed, and working their way through. And they've won 3 straight games on the road. They got to travel on the road again. It's just very unfortunate that the draw that they had was a little bit better than ours. We had a very physical game against Lenore-Ryan, and it looked like their game with Delta State wasn't as physical. And, to me, it looked like our team, after traveling for 5 straight weeks, going on a 7, 8, 4.5, and 8-hour trip on a bus, just looked a little fatigued. And that's what I was really afraid of. And that's my fault as a coach. I've got to get those guys prepared and get them rested up and mentally sharp when they go out there. And I think it was just a little bit too late that we finally decided that we were going to start playing Blazer football. And unfortunately, we got behind 14-0 before we started doing that.
Well, again, the final score was 31-17, a tough end for everybody. I want to mention the crowd briefly, Coach. Not as many as I thought would be there, but I told you it was extremely noisy, and I think the crowd, for the first time in the history I've been around VSU football, created a turnover.
Well, it did. I think it caused them a couple of timeouts. They were coming up and trying to make checks and couldn't hear and couldn't get the communication, and they were forced to use 2 timeouts, which were in the second half, which could have ended up being huge if we'd have converted on some offensive series. But then they did. He goes up to check another time, and the center snaps the ball and creates a fumble at that point, and that was a 3rd down play. So, I credit to our fans. We appreciate them coming out and being loud and supporting us the way that they did. And it was a great atmosphere. Just unfortunate. We're sorry that we didn't win it for all those guys that came out to support us. All
right, Coach, we're going to take our final break and be back and just talk about the season and what your plans are from this point forward with you and your coaches.
All right.
At VSU, we're fired up. We spark intellect on a cool campus. VSU. In a hot college town. We fan the spirit with national championships. And fuel your fun side. Valdosta State University. Ignite!
Welcome back to the David Dean Show. And Coach, we got some time here, almost more time than we can talk maybe, but just want to look at the season that has passed and a couple of questions for you. When this season started going into the season, what were your thoughts about your football team? You had a bunch of young receivers, a new quarterback battle going on, but did you think you could end up like this?
Well, you always hope that you can, but there was a lot of question marks, like you said, an unproven wide receiver core. How well would they play? Our quarterback situation, who would end up winning that battle? A lot of new starters on our offensive line. After last year's number of injuries that we had, how would they stay healthy? A defensive line that had a couple of seniors up front, but the rest of them were very young. We played 2 true freshmen on the defensive line the entire year. Our linebacker core was pretty solid, the number of guys that we had coming back. Our secondary lost a lot of folks from the year before. In our kicking game, during preseason camp, we were struggling with our snapping, and we didn't know who was going to be our snapper. We didn't know who was going to be our punter, our kickoff man. So there's a lot of questions that were involved in it with our special teams. But I will give a tremendous amount of credit to our football team. I think they exceeded a lot of expectations. I don't think anybody expected us to be where we were. We kind of felt like we had an opportunity to do that. We just needed to put things together. And I know a lot of people gave up on us after we were 2-2 and lost to Delta State the way that we did. But those kids were resilient. Week in and week out, they came out and they played very hard. And we got beat yesterday by West Georgia, but I think if you go back and you look at it, it wasn't a complete blowout. It wasn't a complete domination. The first time we played West Georgia, we dominated them, and there's a big difference in that, and that kind of kick-started off our season. But to their credit, they won when they had to, which was in the playoffs. But really proud of our football team, the way that they came together, the way they continued to grow. Their backs were against the wall really for 9 straight weeks, and they responded 8 of those 9 weeks. The only one they didn't was yesterday.
And I've often wondered this. You talk about there's only so much coaches can do. You have to have leaders on your football team. 2012, it was the offensive line, and it seems like, again, the offensive line guys that I was around, because I saw one of you guys come off the practice field Thursday not happy with his team and letting them know that.
Right.
Why does it sometimes seem those offensive linemen are the guys who take charge?
Well, anytime you have a good football team, it's going to begin on the offensive and defensive line. They control the pace of the game. They control the domination of the game. And if you have a good offensive or defensive line, you have an opportunity to be very good. And because of that, everybody kind of rallies around those guys. And we're fortunate. We had a senior up there, really 2 seniors, Mike Miller and Jesse Yancey, who did an outstanding job for us as far as leadership was concerned. But throughout the year, we just had guys that continued to step up and become great leaders. Kenny Murphy and Tevin Davis and Jake Medlock and Caleb Nobles and Isaiah Gresham. All those guys began to step up and become very vocal leaders for us, which was very good.
And you talk about, all those wide receivers, we had one that was 6'1", Shane Henderson, unfortunately didn't play the last couple of games. I'm at practice, and I've told you, I was tall as any receiver you had out there, and that's not good in my mind, but they were fast.
You're taller than every receiver that started in that game yesterday. But, you can't measure heart, and that's, they may weigh 170 pounds, but 160 of it's heart. And they go out and they play hard every day, and they practice hard, and we ask them to block a lot. We ask them to run routes over the middle and take hits off big linebackers, and they do that. And really proud of the way that they played. And luckily for us, all of those guys are back. The only wide receiver that we lose is Connor Weatherington, who played some snaps for us this year. All the other guys are going to be back. So really looking forward to seeing how they're going to progress through the spring.
Well, it was fun to watch them. And another question as far as team, you got Cedric and Austin, who they've done it since freshman. They're in a series, they're out of series, they're in a series. A bunch of wide receivers, all of them, play and catch about the same. And there seems to be no turmoil there with, well, why are you pulling me out, Coach? Why aren't I playing more?
No, they're all team players. They understand and trust what the coaches are doing and the decisions that the coaches are making. And I think that's one thing that we do as a staff is we let those guys know, here's what you're going to be doing for us. And we do that through practice. We do that through meetings. And when they understand that, it makes it a little bit easier. But the bottom line is they're all team players. They want to win. They understand that that's what it's going to take for us to be successful.
And, Coach, before we do our final show here of the year, I want to just thank some people, of course, the sponsors who sponsor your David Dean show every year, and we appreciate that. Mm-hmm. And then the staff here at Valdosta State, led by Bill Muntz. And we think this is Bill's last show. He started with Mike Cabin, we think, back in 1986, and is every Sunday morning up early, either in Thomasville or here, he said. But we appreciate everything Bill does and all the help he's given me over the years he's been around.
And I'm going to miss the chit-chat.
Yeah.
That's probably the one thing that I will always miss. But Bill's a consummate professional, and, he's been a great asset to Valdosta State University. Not only does he do football and sports, he does virtually any big special event that's going on at Valdosta State, Bill's a part of it.
Well, he'll probably hang around, come see us.
I hope so.
And I want to thank Jamie Abbott. I always forget Jamie. He does the video for the TV show, and he travels with us and does a great job of doing that. And He's got a business down in Tallahassee called Crash and Annie, and he does a good job with the highlights.
A lot of hours that he puts on the bus rides and plane rides back home.
Yeah. And just want to finish one thing. Valdosta State, of course, gave us a great run this season after the 2-2 start, and Coach Gibson, along with his coaching staff, to 10-3 for the finals of the season. But it's been a great year for Valdosta State. We thank all the sponsors. We thank all the core fans at Valdosta State. And our goal next year, we got to get more people at Bazemore Hyder Stadium. The Valdosta State University has proved they deserve that kind of support. These kids work hard, and they play well when there's big crowds at Bazemore Hyder Stadium. So for the final time this season, I'm Dick Rocky for the head coach, David Dean. Have a great week.